The current design education system is failing talented designers. So what we really need to start doing is leaning into a one-size-fits-one approach. So, I have had over 350 calls over the last 8 months with different designers from around the planet. I want to show you some consistencies of what I've been hearing, alright? I struggle with confidence and it's affecting my work. I don't know how to deal with self-doubt and that impacts my design business. I know I can bring value to my clients, but I don't know how to tell them. The things I am learning go out of the window when a client gets involved. I can't stick to the process. So, what this proves to me is that the current design education system is failing talented designers. It's not setting them up for the real world. This one-size-fits-all approach is dogmatic, it's lazy, it's predictable, and what happens is like the wins of a few are clouding the kind of judgment of the thousands, unfortunately. So what we really need to start doing is leaning into a one-size-fits-one approach. Then, when you add to this all of the craziness that's on the internet, especially across social media, you got designers teaching designers on how to teach designers to teach designers. I mean, it's crazy, you know. Then, the AI scripts, the aggressive sales tactics, the constant push about pricing, and nobody anywhere right now is talking about problem solving, also known as creativity. Unfortunately, the focus is now on content creation rather than craft. Designers are learning in a vacuum. It's absolute madness. Now, there's not anything wrong with designers teaching designers. I'm not by any means kind of saying that's a bad thing. I just think that when it becomes the only topic of conversation, it leaves out something very important, which is the unpredictability of the real world. And when we don't deal with the unpredictability of the real world very well, then things like anxiety, struggles, confidence struggles, you know, and like the void between designer and client becomes ever growing, you know. We're in a world now where designers physically hate on clients, even when they've never had a client. Madness. So, what is the solution? I have written an MBJ manifesto, and excuse me while I prove to you how bad my reading is, and my dyslexia might kick in, but we'll figure it out when we go through it, alright? So, the design education industry is at a tricky crossroads, threatened by the rise of AI and dogmatic creative practices. The next generation of designers faces an uncertain future unless we act now and rebuild from the ground up. Designers teaching designers is great. We fully support it. However, designers teaching designers who teach designers to teach designers not only sounds like an episode of Black Mirror, it leaves out the most crucial person, the client. In our frantic attempt to keep up with trends, we've lost sight of why we love design and, crucially, who it's for. Then we realised something. We were a part of the problem. As Marcel Proust said, the voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes but in having new eyes. So we sought a new perspective by learning from other industries. Coaching, sports and hospitality, where the learning experience is built around the individual, player or customer. At MBJ, we are committed to revolutionising the way designers are educated by bringing the client across the divide to sit alongside us from the very beginning. We are rebuilding design education from the ground up, not just for our clients, but with them. No more outdated and conventional outreach strategies. No more one size fits all. It's time to focus on one size fits one. We are shifting the conversation away from sales techniques and value-based pricing to client experience and relationship building. Designers need to stop continuously selling themselves and start to learn from their clients, understanding what they want, need, and look for in their unique journeys. This is the only way to truly prepare designers for the real world. If we can get designers comfortable with the unpredictability of the creative world, the predictable elements they've learned will become second nature. We will create a future where designers are empowered, clients are integral, and creative mutualism takes center stage. So, the reason why we believe at Made by James that the current design education system is failing talented designers is because it doesn't bring in the unpredictability from the real world, which are also known as clients. So, at MBJ Nurse Education Space, we've got a big audacious plan. And that is to rebuild the design education space with a focus on client relationships, client building, client cooperation, and we're going to do that by bringing them in live, in our boot camps, in our programs, even within our courses and our content. Everything we're going to be doing is going to have that little bit of unpredictability. So by bringing the clients in, we know that if we can get designers to deal with the unpredictability that the real world scenarios offer, the predictable stuff that they've already been taught becomes super easy. So over the last 8 months or so, not only have I been talking to designers, hundreds of them, I've been also interviewing clients, I've been interviewing coaches, I've been interviewing people from the sports industry to understand how they think and how they work. And what I've come to this kind of little conclusion of is this little diagram here, which is what I'm going to be calling the CCC equals D. And what it is, it's about what I believe it takes to become like designer smart. So I think to become designer smart, you need to have a happy balance between creative smart, corporate smart, and client smart. That is the only way possible to become a successful, career motivated designer. Like creatively, like many people have it. What we also need to do, which some platforms do fantastically well, is they bring in that kind of corporate element, where we're talking about business, sales, pricing, very important conversations, but they shouldn't be the only conversations. And what makes Made by James very different is the client smart aspects, because, we know when we bring in this kind of unpredictable element to it, it's going to help us actually make it in the real world. So when the client asks for something, or when another unpredictable element happens that's out of our control, rather than getting stressed, anxious, we can deal with it a lot easier. So for me and the team, this highlights the importance of client involvement, to build strong client relationships, to build really good client experiences, to relieve and alleviate self-doubt, to build creative confidence, to build a design career and a proper badass design business. We need to have clients involved in our educational experiences. Made by James is now focused on becoming the creative North Star for brand designers. And the reason the reason myself and the team wanted to lean into this language was because it was all about guiding people. One size fits one. The biggest problem I see is that people tell you off if you're not doing it their way. I don't want to go into it too much, but ultimately at Made by James, we just want to be a guide to people, help them on their way, help them on their journey. And the things that, we don't aim to be better than other educational platforms. We just really want to offer something different. If the things that you are doing and the things that you have learned and the things that you are being taught are not working, then maybe it's time to look at things with a slightly different lens. Let's call it an unpredictable lens. We want to create a generation of designers that are adaptable, resilient, and creative, that not just think literally, they think laterally. MBJ is no longer an accidental personal brand. It's a very intentional revolution.